Hello, it's Lord Slar here, coming back to you with another video, and today's one is the top 5 worst cliffhangers in Doctor Who. So one of my most popular videos is the top 5 cliffhangers. With my most popular, I think it's the best to worst one, but I'm not a fan of my first 3 videos because it was all done in one take in front of the camera, and the sound quality was crap, the video quality wasn't that good. I don't think it turned out well. But I might do some more best to worst at some point, so leave some suggestions for best to worst, and indeed top 5s or reviews down in the comments. I want to know what you want to see, not just what I want to see, but I'll just shit out what I usually do if nobody gives any suggestions anyway. So, oh well. But let's get into today's top 5, the top 5 worst cliffhangers. So at number 5 we have The Face of Evil Part 2, or at least I think it's Part 2. It's something like that. And so with The Face of Evil Part 2, it's got an odd cliffhanger and isn't. I don't know how to describe it. Basically, the Doctor's in this room with this mad computer, which kind of has part of him in and part of other people's personalities in. I'm really not sure. Face of Evil plot gets a bit ugh sometimes, but the cliffhanger is just the computer with Tom Baker's face going, "Who am I?" in a really high pitched voice while Tom Baker writhes in pain on the ground, like actual Tom Baker being the Doctor. And it's like, what? How? Why? Like that's not cliffhanger. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. Like having it go why in a high pitched voice. Why is it doing that? Oh, it wasn't going why. It was going who am I? It's like what? What? I mean, I kind of like that is part of the story. It doesn't know who it is, but it just comes off as silly. And then with Tom writhing on the ground, it's never explained why he's in pain. Why is he in pain? He isn't connected to the computer. There's nothing harming him. They just thought, oh well, this cliffhanger's a bit shit. Let's just make him look like he's in pain to add some tension to it. And it's like, oh my god, what were they thinking? It doesn't work, and that's why it's in at number 5. So at number 4 we have the Visitation Part 1. So with this, I kind of see what they were trying to do, but at the same time, it doesn't particularly work. Well, let me just explain this. This is the cliffhanger. So the Doctor is missing for about 10 seconds of screen time, and then the Doctor and Tegan's, with a slightly worried twinge to their speaking, go, Doctor, Doctor, just wondering where he is. And apparently that's worth holding the audience's suspense for a week. Just no, it just looks stupid. The fact that the credits roll just because of that. I mean, there's literally no tension. The Doctor's barely been off screen for any time at all, and we all know he's fine. I mean, I suppose it would have been like a lot better, a decent cliffhanger if maybe just before they had done that, we'd seen like a hand grab the Doctor or something like that, something to suggest he was in danger. But no, it just no, it doesn't work. It doesn't build any tension, and I don't know if it's because it's shot poorly or whether just because the fact that there was no, kind of urgency or reason to believe that the Doctor was in danger, which makes it a bad cliffhanger. But either way, it's not a very good one, and that's why it comes in at number 4. So at number 3 we have Trial of a Time Lord Part 2. Oh boy. I mean, I put Trial of Time Lord Part 13 in my top 5 best cliffhangers because that's a really good cliffhanger. Really, because it's just so tense with the music and everything, it just works. But Part 2, what were they thinking? I mean, a lot of the Trial of a Time Lord cliffhangers aren't that good. They're usually just the Doctor or the Valiard says something dramatic. That's they're there. The credits roll, but they're not that bad. They usually have some kind of implication, like the things they're saying, like, "Oh, we're gonna take your life. Oh, I'm gonna find out what's behind this." That's worthwhile of a cliffhanger. But this one really isn't. It's basically part on the mysterious planet where the Doctor's kind of cornered by both the savages with the weapons, the tribe of the free, and also the little robot thing. Is kind of coming from the other way to take him back to Draffro, and they're cornered, and then the Doctor says, I really think this might be the end, even though we have seen the Doctor at a later date in the courtroom for, part of the episode. And so it just ruins any kind of tension. I mean, we know the Doctor's going to get out of it in all of them, kind of, but in this, it just doesn't work. The fact that we literally see the Doctor in the future, and then the cliffhanger is, I really think this is going to be the end. No, no, that doesn't make any sense. It's just dumb. It's just completely dumb. What were they thinking? You could have done a better cliffhanger than that, and that's why it comes in at number 3. So at number 2 we have The Magician's Apprentice cliffhanger. Oh boy, just I had to fit a New Who episode on this list because New Who's cliffhangers, they don't work in the traditional sense, and I don't think it's quite as effective. Sometimes it's more effective, sometimes it's less effective, because sometimes the classic Who cliffhangers just felt a bit stock. Sometimes they just felt, amazing. Sometimes, they did build suspense. But New Who, generally, it's a lot of things like going towards a cliffhanger at once. Uh, and I personally don't like how that works. It can work, but I don't think it works quite as well as kind of the sudden impact of something happening. But most of them are okay, but this one really, really isn't. I don't have so much of the problem with the Doctor raising the gun at Davros, even though I do, but that's not the main complaint. The main complaint, as part of this cliffhanger, is that Clara and Missy die. Yes, they're shot by Daleks, because it's not like we've ever seen a companion in the Moffat era die before. It's like we've never seen Missy and Clara die before and then come back not soon after. I just can't take it seriously in the Moffat era. I can't. We know they escaped, and afterwards we learn straight away how they escaped at the beginning of the next story, and it's a complete cop-out. They just magically teleported because reasons. Because she had a teleporter thing, but it's just like that's not satisfying at all. And I couldn't take it seriously anyway because I knew they survived. I mean, you kind of always know they survived, but it's the fact that I can't take death seriously anymore is the problem because a lot of the cliffhangers in the classic series didn't necessarily have the companions die. They usually more had them get in perilous danger, which could lead to death. It's when you actually have them die is when you start to kind of ruin any threat in the Doctor Who universe, and I think that's what this manages to do. And plus, the part where the Doctor raises gun at Bubby Davros, as he's so aptly named, that isn't done very well since we've only had about 3 minutes of screen time with Bubby Davros, and so it doesn't feel effective at all, as we haven't really spent the episode thinking about it, we haven't spent the episode with him, and it's just like, you could have actually made a much more interesting episode instead of like making the Doctor be embarrassing with his guitar and his tank and just being cringy. You could have had a really interesting episode with the Doctor traveling with Bubby Davros, and then it's like, do I kill him? Do I not? And that would have been a much more effective cliffhanger than having like Clara and Missy die and then going back to shoot Bubby Davros, even though he's not going to. But if he had been with him the whole episode, you might have thought it, because there would have been a lot of kind of talk about, is this right? Is this justified? And yeah, that's why it comes at number 2. This was quite a rant. It's because I kind of need to get that off my chest, because the wound feels recent, considering this was a 2015 episode. So at number 1, we have, I think you probably know the one, Death to the Daleks Part 3. I mean, well, yeah, a lot of these cliffhangers have been train wrecks. It's usually from more of a conceptual standpoint where they've been train wrecks. It hasn't actually just been complete, just dumb. Like, just complete really dumb. Like this one. Let me describe the cliffhanger, because I did that with a couple of the other ones. Basically, the Doctor's going through the Exelon City after they've passed a series of tests. The Doctor and Bilal reach a checkered board. The Doctor says, no, stop. The camera zooms in on the board. The credits roll. And then you've got to wait a week to see what happens next. Do you realize how ineffective that is? It's just confusing. It just makes you kind of sit back and go, what did I just watch? It's like, just... Ugh. It's completely stupid. How are we supposed to know that a fucking little checkered board in the middle of a temple is meant to be big shit? I mean, it's not like the Five Doctors is broadcast yet, when we kind of learn that they're not things to be messed with, but it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It's so dumb. I'm describing it to you now, but you need to watch it for yourself. Just go watch Death to the Daleks, because it's actually quite a good episode. Don't believe the haters. And, naturally, start from episode 1, and come to episode 3 cliffhanger, and tell me it's not stupid and breaks any atmosphere the episode had. Tell me that. It's stupid, it's dumb, and I can't really blame the camera work because they did try their best to make it look threatening by zooming in on it, and like the way the doctor kind of goes, "No, stop!" Like Pertwee's trying to put his all in showing, "No, this could be dangerous." But just Terry Nation, it's your fault. Why did you write that as a cliffhanger? You could have done so many dangerous things to end on in that city, but you decided on that, and it doesn't work, and that's why Death to Daleks Part 3 is the number one worst cliffhanger in all of Doctor Who by far. Like, I mean, Magician's Apprentice doesn't have anything on it. It is by far the worst Doctor Who cliffhanger. And basically, whenever somebody says worst Doctor Who cliffhanger, this is the one you think of, and for very good reason. Goodbye. See you in another video, you bloody git.